Fouch YouTube channel. Ronnie is one of the great guys in gospel music. We all love him, and we know you love him as well. So here's the interview with Ronnie Booth. Hey, Ronnie Booth, man, how you been, brother?
I'm well. It's good to see you. Hey, first time I've ever Skyped. This is it, man. I'm
Now,
I just got.
but have you done Zoom or any? You've done FaceTime at least, right?
I've done FaceTime. Yeah, that FaceTime. I do that with my grandkids. So, and they showed me how to do it.
It's like
So,
it's like during this time we're all learning new skills, and it's like technology might be yours.
yeah, you know what? Truly, in the last few weeks, I've actually learned quite a bit. I've had a lot of time on my hands, and I thought it's time for me. A 55-year-old grandpa of five just got his 8-track working. It's time to learn this stuff.
That's awesome. And you're up in your music room, looks like. Are
Yeah,
you,
I'm here at my home. Yeah.
are you making music today?
I haven't yet today. I came up here to do the interview with you. We've actually got here in Nashville. We've got just over 28 acres, almost 30 acres of land, and we had a big storm come through a week ago Sunday, and I got trees down all over the place. I've got a mini forest, is what I've got. My wife and I, just love it here. And I was actually on the phone earlier with a forester who's going to come out next Tuesday and just give me some ideas as to what to do. We want to make this place look like a state park, So we love it up here. It's so quiet and peaceful. It reminds you a lot of Gatlinburg. It's the feel.
That's awesome. Man, what in the world outside of seeing, I mean, have you seen the family over the last couple months? I mean, what in the world you been doing?
Well, working on the property primarily, and then behind the scenes with the Booth brothers, we haven't kept up on social media as we should. But when I haven't been here on my land working, Michael and I have been working behind the scenes. We're producing some stuff that will be interesting for people they have never seen before from the Booth brothers, and we've been working on it behind the scenes. And probably next week or the week after that, they'll start hearing about it. So I'm real excited about what we got going on.
Man, that's cool. I mean, because here's the thing. During this time, you can either sit on the couch, watch TV, and eat Cheetos, or you
Yeah,
can get out there and do something, right? Be productive, put
that's
together some
exactly right.
ideas, some things. So I love it that you guys are doing some stuff. That's awesome. And as a fan, I can't wait to hear what you guys are doing.
Well, I appreciate it. It's a lot of different things, and it's hard to explain. But we have just let our minds. We've said no to nothing and any pursuit. And we thought, you know what? Our last date was March 7th with you guys at
Yeah.
Mansion Theater in Branson. That was the
Yeah.
last one we did, and that was March 7th. So that's been over 2 months, and we've been able to accomplish quite a bit in that time. So I'm excited to see, and hopefully the people will really like it.
So you guys, man, you and your brother Michael been singing together for all these years. Uh,
Yeah.
it's been a great journey. You know, we've chatted about it backstage and on the road and different things. But I mean, I just want to know from your heart to the people watching this right now, what has it really meant to you that these folks have engaged with you and Michael and the Booth brothers for all of these years?
Awards are nice. Who's kidding who? Everybody loves awards and hit records and popularity. But man, when we get emails or at a live program, somebody comes up and says what this particular song meant to me because of what I'm going through. I just lost my husband, or my son is on drugs, or whatever it may be, that's eternal. I mean, that is significance. That's beyond success. And I remember Zig Ziglar said, "You want to move from success to significance." And you know what true significance is doing the will of God. That's significance. And when you realize you didn't create anything, all I'm doing is using what my Creator has entrusted to me to be a steward unto Him and serve these people. I am not the Holy Spirit, but I can be obedient to the Holy Spirit and trust Him to use me, and that's all I can do. And so when I hear that's what makes it all worthwhile. It really does.
Yeah. And I know that the people that have supported you guys for all these years, I know that means a
Oh,
lot to you as well.
very, very much. I mean, I don't, I truly don't care for the word fan. I just don't, I never have liked that because that implies a big I, little you to me. And I don't, you know what? I just, look, I'm just using what he created as a servant. That's all I'm trying to do, you know.
Yeah. You have such a smooth way of delivery with your vocals and with your presence on stage. Where do you think that you picked up on some of that over? I'm assuming it was many years ago when you kind of certain guys or groups or whatever that you looked up to, or who were those guys that kind of helped influence the vocals, the way you sing and your presence on
Hmm.
stage?
Well, I learned, it all started with my father and my uncle, Charles Booth, in the Rebels Quartet and the Tony Brothers, and those early, back in the 60s and 70s, the quartets of that era. You know, there, I learned a lot, especially about dynamics back then, about, creating huge crescendos and then bringing it down. So then, in, what year was it? Must have been 78, 79. I was 13, 14 years old. There were two records that came out in 1979. The Oak Ridge Boys had were really heavily into country and starting having hits in country music. And they did a song that featured Dwayne Allen called Sail Away, and we will sail away. You listen to the way Dwayne sings that. And at the same time, that same year, the Gatlin brothers released All the Golden California. On that record, cut number 6 was a song called We're Number One. You listen to the way Larry sings the two verses. Between what Dwayne was doing with Sail Away and what Larry Gatlin was doing with We're Number One, that became the bullseye for me. It just kind of honed in everything that's what I want to pursue right there.
Wow.
And then, so that kind of became the nucleus. And then I looked outside through, in Tampa, Florida, unfortunately, Southern gospel. First of all, I never heard the term Southern gospel. It was just gospel music, back when my dad was in it. And then when he got out of it in 77, um, all my, my friends were, it was the Bee Gees and everybody, and I was hearing all these different sounds, but somehow I got pulled in, and voices like Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby. I mean, some of those crooners, I just thought that is just beautiful. And I don't know, I was just drawn to that. And for lack of a better way of saying, I just understood it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that came most naturally for me.
That's
So,
cool. And we spent several years together on the Jubilee tour. And the first several years, the Jubilee was just kind of just your normal gospel concert, just with three groups.
yeah,
But then it transitioned to Christmas, and we did several years of the Christmas tour, being out all over the country and Canada together.
yes.
What I was actually talking to Gerald Wolf recently about that. During that tour, what would you say was one of the highlights or one of the funniest moments for you? I mean, for me, there was several really funny ones, but what was something that sticks out to you about those Christmas tours that we did together?
Well, to
Bes-
narrow it down is going to be hard.
I was gonna say, besides the amount of time that we were gone on some of them, how long they were,
Oh,
right?
no. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, just mention the names Legacy 5, Greater Vision, and the Booth Brothers. You can imagine. It's just wonder anything got done.
Right, right. That's right.
Well, you remember the time when we set the stage on fire at Dr. Stanley's In Touch Studios?
Yes, sir.
So
I
there
do.
was that. And Howie's, what was it, the snow machine, where you just
Yeah,
got just TP'd in toilet paper. The crowd wasn't expecting that. But you
yeah,
know what I enjoyed the most out of all that, honestly, Matt, was the camaraderie between the group. There was no competition with the three groups. I mean, we all hit the stage as brothers, and we just had a ball together.
yeah,
And how many times? 6, 7 years that thing ran. And was
yeah,
saying, you guys are still doing it, aren't you?
yeah. We have done it. You guys came off of the tour, I think, maybe 3 years ago or so.
Yeah. Hmm.
And we've done it the last, I think, 2 or 3 Christmases
Yeah.
without you all. I don't know if we're planning on doing it this year. I don't know. I haven't heard
Yeah.
or not. But I enjoyed a lot of, like you said, I enjoyed the camaraderie. I enjoyed just everybody hanging out, getting to have a good time. There was some times when it was work,
Oh
just
yeah,
because of how long the trips could be, and it's the same thing every day, and took a little bit more setup than
yeah,
normal, just because of, especially there were several years there were we had some pretty large crowds that were coming every night, and so
yes.
it was just a fun time. You mentioned setting Dr. Stanley's place on fire. During that moment, I was actually covered in toilet paper, so I nearly died because what
Yeah,
caught fire was the toilet paper.
yeah.
Um, and then
I
you
forgot
mentioned,
about that too. Yeah.
yeah, then you mentioned Howie again with the toilet paper. We had some fun stuff with that. When we had that fire, Michael, and it's on the video. Michael did a little dance there, trying to help put the fire out in his way. So that was fun. We had just a lot of great memories on that, and a great time. Is there, I mean, I know you guys have done the Brotherhood tour with Signature
Yeah.
Sound,
Hmm.
all of the cruises that we do every year. Is there anything that sticks out to you year to year as like your favorite place, your favorite event, your favorite thing that the Booth Brothers do?
Honestly, probably at the very top, my favorite event that we have done consistently is Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. There's something so special, and NQC and all these things. Anytime a bunch of we can work with a bunch of our peers, I love that. I'll tell you why Red Deer is so special. There is something. Those people, they love the entertainment aspect of it, and they truly enjoy the music. But that is a crowd that they want to worship
Yeah.
as well, and you ain't gonna fool them. And you and I both have seen,
Hmm.
unfortunately, some people who have tried and it ain't working.
Yeah.
So these people are really tuned in. This wonderful, and there folks come up from America up there. It's about an hour and a half north of Calgary, Alberta. I would have to say and Michael, I think, would tell you the same thing. Is Red Deer, of course, NQC. And we don't have enough time to discuss all the fun things that we've gotten to do, with NQC. But I enjoy
Right.
our cruises together too.
Yeah.
And again, I used to hear a lot of pretty rough stories about years gone by and the between groups and some of the animosity and this, that, and the other. I don't see that today.
Hmm.
I haven't really. I mean, something may flare up every once in a while, but I mean, that's family,
Yeah.
But I don't hear that or see that at all today.
Yeah.
And praise God.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that. It's those events are a lot of fun, and Red Deer is great. Love going up there, and your guys' music always does so well, regardless of where it's at. And one of the guys that's been instrumental in your music over the years has been Nick Bruno, and I recently interviewed him for On the Couch with Fouch, and I just want you to
uh,
just talk for just a moment about Nick, and he talked just about how special it was to get to work with you guys for so many years, and talk about maybe his influence on your guys' music over the years.
Absolutely. Well, as a matter of fact, tomorrow, we will be back in the studio with him tomorrow, and we're going to be cutting some tracks tomorrow. Nick is producing, and Michael's going to be playing drums. So
Hey,
we're going to be
nice,
at Watershed there. We'll be
cool.
at Watershed Studio, and so Nick worked with my dad in the Rebels Quartet in 1970. I was 5 years old. That's how long I've known Nick.
Wow.
And Nick is family to me. And the thing I love about Nick has not stayed just focused on one particular style of music. Nick grew up in Staten Island, New York, and he was exposed to, like we were down in Tampa, Florida. I mean, there's so many different styles of music and whatnot, and Nick studied them all. So when we come to him, we say, Nick, we've got this idea of yeah, and we always try to find, whenever we have a song that we really think the message has, we try to find the most effective musical way of presenting the message in that song. Sometimes it's Still Feeling Fine, and it was Nick's idea, by the way, for that Cajun thing. And if you look back at that time, that was 2000, late 2000, 2001. There was nothing of the sort being done at that time, or had been to our knowledge. And that
Yeah.
was Nick's idea. So the
Wow.
creativity, and he's wide open to any suggestions. And somehow Nick can just put it together. And being the fact that he's watched us grow up all these years, and he was the one who brought "Look for Me at Jesus' Feet." It was the biggest song of our career. "Blind Man" is second. "Blind Man" was huge. "Look for Me," I think, was bigger only because so many people have utilized that song when their loved one has gone home. I can't
Yeah.
tell you the times. And Nick, for 5 years, tried to get us to record "Look for Me at Jesus' Feet," and we didn't think we could do it. We said, "Nick, that's not our style. We can't do that. It's not, boys, I'm telling you, you need to listen." We actually did it to just appease him. And here's the thing, even when the record came out, we never even staged it. For about the first 6 months, we never staged it. And our dad came, so he said, "Boys, you need to stage that song." So, and he kept pursuing. So to appease our dad, we started staging "Look for Me at Jesus' Feet." That's, it's kind of like John Bon Jovi when he and Richie Sambora wrote "Living on a Prayer," the number one song of the 80s. He said, "I didn't think it was good enough for the record." He said, "So what do I know?"
Wow.
You just
Wow.
sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. And
Yeah.
that was the situation. So thank the Lord that we had somebody like Nick on our team that sees things from a different angle. And if we're wise, we'll listen.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
yeah, we're going to be in the studio tomorrow. We've got we're going to be we've actually done some songs, picked some songs. We were with him last week rehearsing, and Paul is still home in Ohio. And for many who don't know, his wife is still going through her chemo. She was diagnosed over a year ago with cancer. She's doing well. So we told him stay home, especially with the health reasons. We said, so we're actually, when we get through with our vocals and whatnot, we're going to send it up there. And it looks like Jim Brady's father-in-law, Jack Schuler, he's got a small studio not far from Paul. Paul's going to be able to go over
Wow.
there and do his vocals. Yeah. So Paul we haven't seen each other for over 2 months.
Yeah. I know, man.
It's hard to believe.
It's been so crazy. But I mean, you guys watching, look for the new stuff that's coming from the Booth Brothers. And just like you mentioned, sounds like you guys are doing music, but I'm sure you'll be making an announcement real soon about what that's going to look like.
Oh, yeah.
And so follow them on Facebook at the Booth Brothers, YouTube, Booth Brothers, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know where all y'all are. You're out there though. And Ronnie, you also have a page on Facebook. Ronnie,
Yeah.
y'all can connect with him there. Man, any last words for the folks today?
Just listen. I try to, if anything, I have had, Matt, I mean, this has been the most difficult financial time many of us. Because here's the thing about a gospel singer. Number one, you make your living in front of large crowds. Number two, they're an older crowd. And the older crowd really is the most susceptible to the COVID-19. So that's how we get back into this is going to be a challenge for all of us. And yet, Matt, I have had more peace than I have ever had in my life. And I can't explain it. It's just like the Lord tells you, go as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll be able to see further. I'll show you, but just take me at my word. So
That's good. That's good. Well, man, I've enjoyed my time today. Thank you, Ronnie, for taking a few minutes for us. And I know these folks love getting to hear from you and see you. And enjoy those your family, enjoy those grandkids, and have fun hanging out with your wife and the family.
Bless you, man. It's always great to talk to you, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Take care.
See you, man.